it into two more interesting characters who pretend to hate each other, but they're like two peas in a pod. Dave Grohl and Courtney Love. From my research, Courtney Love had early dealings with the FBI, and she basically worked as a sex kitten for them, infiltrating many music scenes, not only the Seattle grunge scene, but before that, well, she traveled around Japan and England, just fucking people. But before that, she infiltrated the DC punk scene. Courtney Love and Dave Grohl, both very similar stories. Both are from the Washington, D.C. area. And Courtney Love's father was actually the manager of the Grateful Dead before they became the Grateful Dead. They were originally the Warlocks. And the Warlocks used to perform on a stage full of rose petals because they're all Rosicrucians. They're all a part of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. A bunch of other stuff, right? A bunch of weird shit. But what's even more interesting is her father claims to have been friends and roommates with David Geffen. And he said this in an interview, a super rare interview that I found and I've sourced on my Patreon. And I put this in my breakdown of Courtney Love. Now, this statement could be bullshit, but it's weird though, because what ends up happening is Geffen then signs Nirvana after Nirvana was signed to Sub Pop. And this is right around the time that Dave Grohl joined Nirvana. Now, Dave Grohl joined Nirvana after the debut album had already been released via Sub Pop. It's Bleach, great album. But that timing is very fetty, very weird, especially because Dave Grohl's daddy was a speechwriter for Ronald Reagan. There's the American Principality part. And Courtney Love was also working with the FBI, American Principality part. Now they're injecting themselves into the Music Beast part. And in fact, if you search Dave Grohl, Ronald Reagan, what comes up is this like bullshit article Dave Grohl's PR team wrote about how Dave went to an anti-Ronald Reagan rally and he was beat up at the Ronald Reagan rally. And it's just anti-Reagan, anti-Republican, it's just such divisive bullshit, right? Dave Grohl's team works overtime on the PR stuff, especially since he cheated on his wife and it came out that Kurt Cobain absolutely fucking hated him. And he was actually going to kick Dave Grohl out of Nirvana, and he was actually the reason Nirvana was going to break up in the first place. And in my opinion, Kurt was surrounded by feds. Dave, Courtney, various other people, and then of course we have a blood sacrifice here too. Kurt dies in a very Ball-esque way, and there's so much more to all of it, and it's all here. All of these breakdowns, I have tons of these breakdowns.